A man they call Slicer.
Come on, Slicer. All right, welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. If you don't know me, my name is Brandon, and I'm a school principal from the U.S. state of Georgia. Doing another episode of Recess today. It's been a while since I've done an episode of Recess, but I know fans of the show have been asking for it. This episode in particular has come up in the comments quite often. It's called Prickley is Leaving. I do remember Principal Prickley from one of the episodes I have watched, and he also turned up on the principal's tier list. Check that video out if you haven't seen it, but I'm interested to see, is he leaving for good? Why is he leaving? What caused him to leave? And what's going on with that? I just see the still frame here. Haven't seen this one, but I'm excited to be reacting to it here with you. Just a reminder, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please click the button below to subscribe, or better yet, consider becoming a channel member. Let's go. Love the theme. Up. Here we go. There he is. I've never known a principal that will just sit in his office and doodle. He looks kind of sad. I wonder what's going on here.
Prickley here. Why, Superintendent Skinner, our Mrs. Skinner, and the little Skinnerettes. My application? Yes, sir. Oh, thank you, sir. And might I say, sir, you've made an excellent choice.
Oh.
Because you chose me.
Is he taking another offer? He picked up the phone and answered Superintendent Skinner, like maybe another superintendent had called him, or the superintendent of his current district, and he's applying for a job within his district. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's conceivable that the superintendent themselves would call a principal about a final decision like that. I wonder if he's applying for another principal job or some sort of promotion. That is a long process, and you wouldn't typically be dealing with a superintendent at all unless it's the very end. And yeah, you might get a call like that with a final acceptance of the position. I have seen it done that way before, so that is somewhat realistic.
This is not fair!
What's with you, Weems? Mikey wasn't bothering anyone.
Don't blame it on Randall. You know the rules. No toys from home allowed on the playground, including Mikey's fun boy haiku poetry game.
A 5-syllable phrase invoking an image of nature.
Just
a fun boy haiku poetry game. Never seen that before in this era or now. That's a little interesting.
Garbage that'll throw a school into chaos. Come, Randall.
Really?
Well done.
He's the tattletale.
I'm getting sick of how things work around this joint.
Perhaps we should bring this injustice to Principal Prickley's attention. Come on, Gretch. He's the guy who made that no toys in the playground rule.
You too. Children, faculty, janitors, and whoever else works here. I'm sure you're all aware of the terrible cheese voucher scandal that recently rocked our district. Well, good news. The principal of Spiro D. Agnew Middle School has been fired, and I've been chosen to replace him.
No.
That's right.
All right. So he says, I think I heard him say that there's a principal at another middle school, and this is an elementary school, but at a middle school who was fired and that he's replacing him. So even if that's true, and you know, that does happen sometimes, you would never do what he's doing here. Doing what he's doing here, if it sounds like it's within the same school district, and maybe he applied for a job at another school within that same school district, which you can do. That does happen. And so the superintendent called him and said that he was chosen. If he did this, that could possibly undo that, because people would ask about it and say that he came on the intercom and said that. That might put that into jeopardy, particularly because sometimes it is kept secret until the school district wants to announce that, unless he was told, like, okay, you know, you can go ahead and tell people if you want, but you wouldn't. It would be at the very least somewhat unprofessional to do it in this manner. Everybody's happy.
Excuse me, Randall.
And she's sad. She's sad for whatever reason.
I'm sure you're all as thrilled for me as I am for myself, so feel free to celebrate.
This guy's ego is crazy. He says, I'm sure you're as excited for me as I am for myself, so feel free to celebrate. It's like, Goodness, man. This is the kind of information that you keep to yourself and you don't tell anyone until you really need to, because no one is going to care all that much, but it may impact the day-to-day workings of the school. And you may want to plan out, okay, how can I do this in a way that's the least disruptive to things? And keep in mind that this school also needs a new principal, and you really want to make sure that that's as smooth of transition as possible.
Oh, did I say a happy day? I meant a happy day.
Uh-oh.
The happiest happy day ever. There's just one thing. To make sure I've been doing a good job here at 3rd Street, Superintendent Skinner will be visiting Thursday for an official inspection. Now go practice your manners.
Okay.
'Cause I am out of here.
All right. So I'm starting to see the premise of the episode, and I'm wondering what the piece of paper was that this kid pulled off looks like a fax machine. And he says that just to make sure I've been doing a good job, there's an inspection. So I'm guessing that because the kids are so happy about him leaving, they're going to make sure this inspection goes well, I guess. But I don't know if Prickley is in later episodes. If he is, I'm guessing that the inspection didn't go quite so well. But let's see. I'm kind of curious now.
So the big guy is hitting the bricks. Huzzah! Finally, we can relax and live like kids.
I'm wearing my Beating McChirp t-shirt to school, and nobody's gonna stop me! I've got a little something in mind for the Ashleys. Let's just say electromagnets are involved.
This is going to...
And by the way, I'm just realizing this episode is from season 3. And so far, in terms of this show, I've seen mostly earlier episodes. But so far, all the characters are exactly the same ones that I remember.
As they say, rock! Don't be so sure.
Minlo?
Oh,
You
that's
think
that
you've
kid.
had it bad so far? Well, let me tell you, the worst is yet to come.
Okay.
Minlo?
All right, I get it. So there's going to be a new principal that is going to be really bad, worse than Prickley. And so they're going to mess up this inspection that's supposed to happen so that he has to stay. I sense that is what's going to happen here.
Oh, that necktie's choking off your noggin.
Yeah, sorry, guy. Prickley is leaving.
You fool! Certainly I know he's leaving. But did you ever consider who might be coming to replace him?
Yeah.
The news arrived in the office in the form of a fax. Our new principal is the strictest, meanest, toughest administrator in the whole entire district. A
Wow.
man they call Slicer.
Come on, Slicer? Really? I don't know if I've met anyone by that name. I'm sure there are plenty of people named Slicer. I don't think I've met someone like that. Almost reminds me of like the Shredder, like from Ninja Turtles or something. I've certainly never met anybody in education named that, or a principal, certainly, but they just sound menacing though, don't they?
And tomorrow, he's coming for a visit.
Oh, come on. There's no way this Slicer got...
And that is something that would happen if you have a new principal. It is very appropriate for them to come earlier, even before they technically begin, just to look around, just to meet people, greet people, start to get to know the school, the students, the staff. That would be a fairly normal thing that could happen. Goodness. Look at this guy. And you saw the car he pulled up in. I don't know what to say. All these characters are really like caricatures and exaggerations of different things, different elements. And so this guy, Principal Slicer, I can't wait to see what they're going to have him do.
Gilda?
Sir!
Notes.
Come
Main
on.
compound needs a new coat of paint. Hedges
Compound.
There, and there require trimming. They obscured the northeast and southeast approaches to the main entrance, leaving it vulnerable.
Come on, man. Oh, it's not a army base. It's not a military base. It's a school. He's talking about the compound in the northwest. It's vulnerable. I mean, come on.
Could use more discipline.
Miss Finster! Miss Finster! The new principal's here, and boy, does he have big plans for this place. School uniforms, regulation haircuts, and get this. He's tearing down the jungle gym and putting in a guard tower. Oh, Miss
A
Finster.
guard tower. A guard tower. Okay, I don't know what to say, but no, none of this would ever happen, obviously. Even in there are schools that have to be a bit more strict just because of different things, different problems that the school may have, but no, all of this is way over the top, beyond over the top. It's just comical at this point. But I'm guessing she's going to be fairly excited about this, and you can see he's excited, but no one else is going to be.
Isn't he wonderful? Miss Finster?
You'd think I'd be happy, wouldn't you, Randall?
Yeah, I would.
Principal Prickley and I, For years now, we've been a team. Like liver and onions, like clam juice and celery.
Like Finster and Weems?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think that she would be happy, but what she says is true, actually. This character, I can't even remember her name at the moment, but she is really everything negative about bad teachers that I've ever seen or heard of. It's her. But she is right about this one thing. You do tend to get attached to different people. Maybe not attached, but you do kind of bond with certain people that you've worked with for a long period of time. And so her talking about Prickley leaving, you know, almost missing him, but them working together for such a long time and they're a team. Yeah, that there is some truth to that.
Like Finster and Weems.
Okay. Oh, come
Wow,
on.
That slicer guy really is scary. Aw, he's nothing. Watch as I work a little of the old
Oh boy.
Detweiler magic on.
TJ.
Hey, Slicey baby, how's it hanging?
Oh goodness.
I believe I've read your dossier. Yes, Detweiler, Theodore J., the troublemaking funny boy. You do consider yourself a funny boy, don't you, Detweiler? Well, I don't like funny boys.
Oh boy.
It was a funny boy who gave me this car. How, you ask? Let's just say electromagnets were it.
What in the world? This guy... This guy's nuts. But I'm surprised TJ went right up to him like this.
Gilda, pen and paper.
For your information, Theodore Detweiler, my name is not Slicey. It is Dr. Slicer. I have a PhD in discipline with a minor in punishment.
A PhD in discipline with a minor in punishment. Obviously, those don't exist. It's just funny. Goodness.
Not. Forget it. Now, straighten up. Take off your hat.
Okay, yeah.
Starting Monday,
no.
when I become your principal, this will be your hat.
No, dude. You can't do that. He asked him to take off his hat, and I'm like, okay. I mean, that does happen at schools. Most schools that I've ever been at don't allow what you might call headgear, which covers hats of all different types. But then he says he has to wear this paper hat that says funny boy on it. No, that could get him fired for sure. You can't do that.
Gilda, those tentacle poles. There.
And by the way, he says starting Monday, this will be your hat, as if that's when he's starting, which I don't know what day this is supposed to be, but obviously that's probably under a week. I think Prickley said Thursday the inspection happens, so I guess it's at least 5 or 6 days. So it is plausible, I guess, under those circumstances that a principal change would happen that quickly. That's not the normal process. So if someone is retiring, if a principal is retiring or changing jobs for a different reason, for something that's a bit more typical, it's going to be quite a while. It might be a couple of months, 3 months, longer for that principal transition to take place. And there's going to be multiple visits and chances for the new principal and the staff to interact. Now, Prickley mentions a scandal. There was some sort of, I think he said a cheese scandal or something crazy, but there was some sort of incident where a principal was fired. And in that case, yeah, it is conceivable that you would need to make a quick move, particularly in a bigger district like this. But I've also seen it where they may get a temporary principal either from the district office or promote the assistant principal to some sort of temporary acting principal role while they interview for the next principal. But quick change like this, a transfer between schools, I have seen it happen before.
Guy is worse than Prickley. We gotta do something.
Yeah.
Principal Prickley!
Hey, you little grade school muppets. What do you want?
Muppets.
We just want to tell you about how wonderful you are and stuff.
Yeah. Anyone says you want, they're just plain wrong. Principal Slicer? No, Prickley sounds nicer.
Lovely, kids. But it's obvious the only reason you're being nice to me is because you're scared of my replacement.
Yeah, pretty much. He just sees right through it. It's like, obviously, the reason you're being so nice to me is because you're scared of my replacement. Yeah. And I bet you this inspection is going to come up. I heard it mentioned at the beginning, and I haven't heard anybody mention it since, but I bet that's going to be the crux of the issue here.
And you know what I say to that? Sorry. Nice hat.
Mail, sir.
Oh, okay. They bugged the room.
Good afternoon. This is the radio news. Our top story.
Spiro T. Agnew Middle School has just been named the world's most dangerous place on Earth.
Okay, so they're going to try and scare him into not going, I guess is their first plan.
What? Here's our experts to tell you why Spiro T. Agnew was more dangerous than any other place except for maybe inside lava.
Hi, I'm a scientist, and I'm a fearless adventurer. All I gotta say is,
Hi, I'm a scientist. Like, okay.
Spiro T. Agnew School gives me the willies. It's got ghosts and stuff.
Ghosts.
It's built on top of a graveyard, and it's full of red-hot laser beams. Look out! Here comes a nuclear zombie that lives there.
Very funny, you elementary school kids and your practical jokes. Well, from now on, I'm only concerning myself with the problems of middle school kids. Now leave me alone.
He's a nuclear zombie. I don't know what a nuclear zombie is exactly. And I'm guessing they're going to try a few things and fail, and then they're going to mess up this inspection somehow.
Yeah, Skinner's coming for his big inspection tomorrow. Once that's finished, Prickley's out of here.
Wait a minute. The big inspection.
There we
That's
go.
it. Prickly says he wants middle school problems. I say we help him out.
I'm afraid I'm not following you, TJ.
Gretchen, what do you know about 13-year-olds?
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, all right, come on. And you know, if I'm this guy and I see the banner and you don't do that when your superintendent visits. Now, do you sort of prepare on some level, just letting people know that he is going to be visiting? Maybe you do, but you don't do stuff like this. I mean, this would make this person question, like, did I really make the right decision? This is getting a little crazy. No. No. Come on.
Wow, Prickley, I'm impressed. You didn't put the kids up to this, did you?
Oh, no, sir.
If he's impressed by this, I question his integrity.
Right this way, the kindergartners have spontaneously taught themselves a traditional Irish folk dance.
Spontaneously.
Wonderful. But who are those children over there?
I have no idea who they are.
Well, then, let's meet them. Hello, son.
And if he has no idea who they are, I would question that as well.
And I notice you're not lined up with the other students.
That's because I reject you, man. You and everything you stand for.
Well, that's fairly disturbing.
Oh, that's just
Yeah.
TJ Detweiler, sir. He's just joking around. Ah, here's the intelligent and courteous Gretchen.
Oh, boy.
Harper. Say hello to the very important man, Gretchen.
Greetings are depressing. Life is pointless. Leave me down to grapple with my own irrelevance as I confront young adulthood. Man.
Man.
I know I gotta make weight, but I
And TJ, what he said kind of cracks me up because he doesn't, try to make it look like there's an issue. He just looks at him and says, I reject you, man. It's like, that's pretty funny.
can't live on ginseng and egg whites forever.
I'm breaking out.
Oh, boy.
Yet another sock hop spent alone with my regrets.
I have father issues.
By Jove, Prickley, these are just the types of problems you'll be encountering in middle school. It's the perfect opportunity for you to show off your one-on-one counseling skills.
Oh, boy.
Certainly, sir. You, back off. You, cheer up. You, eat something. You, cut back on the fried foods. You, mow the lawn.
You are so dreamy.
Oh, get a hamster.
Prickley, what decisive handling of those children's strange problems.
So this plan, as of right now, is backfired, and he thinks he's even more ready for the job. Oh, boy.
Spiro T. Agnew is yours. Let's go iron out the details, shall we?
Sir,
Wow.
I would be delighted.
That was our last chance.
I guess Prickley really is leaving.
All right, everybody, break it up. There's nothing left to see. Nothing left at all.
Oh, boy. She gonna help him, I wonder?
Gilda, this weapon is full of cement. See that it's cleaned out and made off right.
Oh, boy. Which I've never seen this at a school. I mean, I've seen it at parks, historical landmarks, where you have an old cannon or a reproduction of a cannon that is filled with cement for obvious reasons. But he's like, no, let's get that out of there and make it where it can really fire. Come on, dude.
Forever!
Gee, Miss Finster, you're
They're gonna team up.
this, huh?
It's a crushing blow. My own personal Hindenburg.
Well, then, how come you didn't help us try and get him to stay?
Principal Prickley is my friend. For years, he's wanted to run a middle school. It's his dream, and I'm not going to get in the way of that.
Ah, okay. Didn't know that. And that does happen sometimes, both with teachers and administrators, where they may, for a period of time, be at a different level than their preference is, elementary, middle, or high. And most people do gravitate toward one or the other. And it's different with every person. Some people love elementary school, and they say, I can never teach in a high school ever. Some people people it's middle, some it's high. It just depends on the person. So she knows this, and she says, I'm not going to stand in his way, but I bet you they end up teaming up somehow.
Because when you really care about someone, you forget about what's best for you.
Mm.
You do what's best for them.
Good point.
Adios, K through Sixers. I'm off to 789 City.
Okay, that's interesting. K through Sixers and 789 sounds more like what I would think of as a junior high, which you don't see those quite so much anymore. It's really just elementary, middle, and high. And so most places I've been, it's 6, 7, 8. You got your K5 or your pre-K through 5, and then you've got your 6, 7, 8. Technically, school districts can group those however they wish. Sometimes it depends upon building capacity. In other words, how many students the school is designed to hold. And maybe I've seen it where a school district is building a new school, but they can't build a brand new one that's K through 5. They don't have enough funding. So they do like a new K through 2, and then they shift students around from school to school to help alleviate to help make room for all the students. And you've got maybe a K2 or a K3 and a 4 through 6. I have seen stuff like that before. Technically, school districts can do that however they wish.
Jeez, what's up with Finster?
Sir, what it is with Miss Finster? Well, I think she's just really happy for you. And to be honest, so are we.
You are?
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, you've been a pretty okay principal. And, well, sir, we're gonna miss you.
I had no...
Okay, maybe this will work. Interesting.
Bravo!
Very touching indeed. From now on, we'll just call you Captain Sappy.
Oh.
Now hold on, Slicer. Detweiler was merely expressing...
Enough!
When I begin my duties here on Monday, there will be no sappiness. Sappiness makes you soft, like Miss Finster here. Finster, henceforth, Gilda is in charge of the playground. You will be her assistant.
Oh, boy.
You will wear a gray dress and answer to this whistle.
No. Come on. This may be one of the most ridiculous episodes of any show I've ever seen. It's kind of crazy.
Now come, Principal Prickley. It's time to move on. Go now and feel no need to look back. I'll whip this school into shape.
That's going to change his mind.
Sappiness. Huh.
Okay.
This is it, guys. Today's the day. The end of life as we know
Which hat am I supposed to wear? He didn't say which hat I
Yeah, that's right. Funny Boy or Captain Sappy. He's got two of them now. And this guy, does he just walk around giving paper hats to people with demeaning names on it? It's kind of funny.
supposed to wear.
Uh-oh. Look at this. Look at this car. I mean, it's I've never seen a principal with a car like that. Oh, it's Prickley.
Thanks for the ride, Slicey.
You're making a big mistake.
He decided to stay.
Principal Prickley, what are you doing here?
Which the interesting thing is sometimes this would be allowed and sometimes it wouldn't. So if Prickley had said, you know what, I'd rather just stay. If he were going to a different district, of course he could do that. But remember, your contract is with the school district, not your school. If you don't know that, you probably know that teachers and administrators are on a contract with each school district, but your contract is with the district as a whole. So in a large district, they decide where you are. In other words, they could tell Prickley, well, we need you at this other school, so I'm sorry you don't want to leave, but you have to. So he would have no choice, but maybe he talked to them and they let him out of it. That is conceivable too.
Skinner wouldn't cough up enough cash, so I decided to stay. But believe me, the minute they make a better offer, I am out of here.
Skinner wouldn't cough up enough cash. Wow. Okay. Most school districts, especially larger ones, do have a set salary schedule for positions like this, and his ability to negotiate that would be somewhat limited.
Well, it's a school day, isn't it? Stop standing around.
Well, that's the episode. Prickley is leaving. I really liked that one. This guy, Slicer, I think was his name. I've never seen anybody that's that quiet over the top. I mean, he treats it like a military base or something, and it's not, of course. And Prickley doesn't seem so bad here. You kind of get a little heart here with him. You kind of get a different feeling about him from this episode. And he surprised me when he stepped out of the car. I didn't see it coming quite that quickly. I thought, surely he's not actually going to leave, and he didn't. But he steps out of the car and he says, I'm staying. So not much of this this is that realistic, except principal transfers do happen, and they can happen quickly. They often don't, but they can, particularly if someone was fired at a different school and they needed to shuffle people around. That does happen in larger districts, but this guy is so unrealistic, it's a little crazy. But I enjoyed that one. Thank you for the recommendation, you all who recommended this particular episode. I did enjoy it. If you're not a subscriber, again, do consider becoming a subscriber by clicking the button below or becoming a channel member. And I'll see you on the next video here on School Principal Reacts. Thanks for watching.